This is problem number 34 from the June 2017 Algebra Regents exam. So we've got a graph here that's showing Craig's trip to visiting his friend in another state. And it says in the course of his travels, he encountered both highway and city driving. First question says down at the bottom here, based on the graph, during which interval did Craig most likely drive in the city? And explain your reasoning. So if we take a glance over at the graph here, we're comparing the miles traveled versus the hours. And as you could imagine, highway driving means that you're driving at a much faster speed. You're covering more ground in a short amount of time. So visually, we can tell that that's happening. He's doing highway driving from here to here because he's going fast. He's traveling far, quickly. And that happens again here. City driving would mean that you're driving less fast, right? You're inside the city, you've got traffic lights and so on. So that's going to be this distance from here to here. From B to C, he's not traveling any distance, which means he clearly stopped. So I typed up my explanation there. I wrote that he traveled in the city from interval D to E because he's traveling at a slower speed, which can be seen by a less steep or a lower rate of change compared to the highway driving. I think that'd be a pretty good explanation of that. Now, for moving on to the next part of the question, it says to explain what might have happened in the interval between B and C. And as I had already mentioned, moving from B to C, you'll notice that he is not traveling any distance at all. And that happened for a full hour and a half. So clearly, he stopped. Maybe for a coffee break, maybe for a lunch break. Obviously not important, but the important thing is that he stopped for a break. And finally, moving on to the final part of the question, it says to determine Craig's average speed to the nearest tenth of a mile per hour for the entire trip. So average speed over the entire trip, that is going to be found by calculating, so speed is distance over time. So in this case, the total distance for the entire trip would be from 0 to this distance here. That would be 230. So we traveled 230 miles over how much time? That whole trip took 7 hours. And 230 divided by 7 is 32.9 if we are going to round to the nearest tenth miles per hour. All right, so we've got every part of this question answered, and that's all for this video. Thanks for visiting JD's Regents Preparation.